Hey, y'all, what's going on? Sorry, the kettle's boiling, so it's making some noise back there. What's happening? I figured I could do this now. I've just got a little window of time. It's close to the usual time that I would be doing this show, at least. It's a little bit earlier, but yeah, I got about not very long, about a half hour, and then I have to split. But because we're playing in Prague tonight, so I'm in Czech Republic. There's my boiling kettle. Let's get some tea going here, so that I got a little bit of caffeine kicking into my brain. English breakfast, why the heck not? Already had 2 coffees today, so that's enough of that. Let's see here. Answering message from Clean My Mac on my computer. Anybody else use Clean My Mac? I kind of like it. I kind of hate it. It's constantly prompting me. One of those things on my computer that is bad for people with ADD or whatever I have. It's like, you open up your computer and then some message pops up and it wants you to do that. And then you forget, like, within 10 seconds why you opened your computer. Hey, take care of this thing over here. And hey, wouldn't you like to do this? And perhaps you'd like to know about this thing over here. The modern condition that we all deal with. Else got music here. It says, got to go help my wife with family stuff. You sent me a message last week to let me know when the microphone was muted. I never get them. I know you're trying to help, but I never get them because I'm always like engrossed in, once again, because of ADD, the thing that I'm doing at the time. So when people are like, hey, this is going on and that's going on and your microphone's muted, I'm never going to look at it until after the stream. And then I'll look at it and then be like, oh, thanks. But you know what I mean? It's just how my brain works. I can't divert. So it's easier to just send me in the chat because eventually I'll look in the chat and see. You know what I mean? I know you're just trying to help. Santa Barbara says, just saw your Sweetwater video. So cool seeing you go through all those Ed riffs. That was Nick's idea. This video I did with Nick Bocott, who of course is at Sweetwater now, guitar player from Grim Reaper. He's a lefty. I always remember him growing up in Grim Reaper. Great guy. He's a really, really nice person. Of course, works out of Sweetwater now. And I really liked the video. I liked the way it turned out. I was, I was like not really warmed up, and you're like, can I play these riffs right now? I'm going to remember everything. And then, once I saw it, once it was recorded and he sent it to me to approve, I was like, oh, it's cool. We covered a lot of ground. I feel like it's a good, guitar lesson, Eddie Van Halen rhythm guitar lesson, or some of the unique things about his style. So thanks, Nick, for kind of pushing me to do it that day and stuff. And because I do like the way it turned out. You guys recorded the amp great. I'm using the PT-15 and little quad cortex for effects in it and stuff. And my signature custom HSS model. Got to keep an eye on the time here because I do have to run. I've got a show in about 2 hours. So here in Prague. So I'm just going to keep an eye on the time. Actually, I'm going to set an alarm so that I don't bugger up and, have an issue, miss my lobby call, because that would be bad, right? So let me just grab my phone here, wherever that is. There it is. And set an alarm for 7:12 p.m. That should give me just enough time 10 minutes to get it together around here and then make my lobby situation. But anyway, yeah, check out the video if you haven't seen it. Chris says he had a British flag Yamaha, one of those SG 3000s in hair back in the day. Yeah, he had a Kramer too. I've seen that Kramer. It's in his office now at Sweetwater. I remember the Kramer well. At least that's my memory, is that he had that guitar in videos and stuff back in the day. Yeah, good to see you in Wolverhampton, says Richard. Thanks, man. You were great. Thank you. Yeah, that was a good one. As I remember, that was my Friends from Classic Rock Show came out. Saw that one. Yeah. Good to see you. Looks like you are having a great time. I am. I'm having a really good time. We're in the final 2 weeks here. We got about 8 more shows on this tour, at least, and this particular European tour. And just been having a really good time, can't thank the guys enough for bringing me out. Reverend said it's not ADD, it's just being human. I agree with that. I think, the science has shown that as human beings, we're just not meant to multitask and stuff, generally speaking. Some people say that's not true, I can do it, but it's scientific they just say that we can't really focus on more than one thing at a time. And I get easily distracted by things, and then I forget what I was going to do, Maybe that's just age too, but I think I've always kind of been that way. I just get distracted, and then I went, well, what was I originally opening the computer for? What was I doing? So anyway, yeah. Clean My Mac is like a friendly virus. It is. I mean, it works well for some things. I know really diehard Mac people don't really like it. For those that don't know what that is, it's a Mac kind of helper thing that, you've subscribed to, and then it helps you to run tasks and maintenance tasks and delete. I do find it useful for like deleting things, because I tend to let things pile up and, not delete things off my computer, and then I end up with like a bunch of junk and stuff. I don't know if you guys are like that, but it does help me in a simple I know it's a simple program, but if you go to the Mac shops, if you need your Mac worked on or something, they'll be like, oh, I hate that program, but that's what they'll say, but they know what they're doing. So, they're on top of all that stuff, and they don't need that kind of stuff. So whereas I'm just a layman knucklehead when it comes to computers. So yeah. What else? The picture in the thumbnail is actually from a festival that we did in Perugia. Am I saying that right? Italy the other day. Beautiful town. Wow, what a town! Really fun festivals in Italy over the last week. Excuse me. Did a few. That was great. This tour's going fast. It's hard to believe that so much is over, like the whole Italian portion of it. Now we get into kind of the Eastern European, playing Prague, and we already did Warsaw, but I mean, that was a couple weeks ago now. But now we really get into the like Bulgaria, and we're going to do Istanbul, we're going to do Athens, end up in Croatia. So it's some really interesting shows coming up. Some places I've never been, and looking forward to it. So what else we got here? Stephen Douglas, hey man, what's up? Ian's here. I can't have my wind. I can't have my wind or my mind wandering while playing and singing, or I'm screwed. Yeah, I'm like that too. I mean, there's a certain degree of muscle memory that comes in. But certainly music I'm playing on this tour, I don't like my mind wandering that much. I try and focus, get really into it. Let's see. This gentleman saw us in Bologna a couple days ago. The show was killer. Thanks. That was a fun one. I enjoyed that as well. It's a great town. Hot. Yeah, that was a good show. They've all been pretty consistently fun, man, to be honest. Yeah. Who else we got here? Let's see. Anyone heard the new Big Rex song, Holy Roller? I haven't. I got to check that out. Playing Sick, I'm sure I would expect no less from those guys. They're so good. Just wanted to congratulate you on your great playing on Friday at the GES. That's the Guitar and Scene Festival in St. Julien. That was really fun. Great to see you play live. Very well done. Thank you. Thank you. That was a really fun show. We played right after Dream Theater. Nice to see the guys in Dream Theater. I'd never actually met John. I did a project a few years ago in the studio. Why am I crapping out on it? With what was it called? Where I played 3 Rush tunes. And I'm trying to remember the name of the video, so you guys can go check it out, because it's kind of crazy. It's really funny. But just 1 sec. Let me find it here, because I want you to watch it. 1 sec. It was called, I can't remember the name of it, but it was Philip Beinho and who's the bass player was Steve Vai. Sorry, I'm having such a brain fart right now. Is Mike Portnoy on drums. So I'd met Mike doing the project, and it was called Pan Rocks. That's what it's called, and it was steel drums. So it was like pan steel drums. So Mike Portnoy and myself and Philip Beinholm were the core kind of Rush, guitar bass drums trio, and then all the other parts were played on steel drums. So you can see us do, and it's actually more entertaining than it sounds like crazy, but if you go watch it, it's pretty cool. Pan Rocks. You can search my name and Pan Rocks, and it'll come up, and you'll see us playing in the studio with a full. I mean, there's like a 50-piece steel drum band or something. I think it was about 50 people, maybe 45. Doing Spirit of Radio, Tom Sawyer, and YYZ. Anyway, so I'd met Mr. Portnoy then. It was nice to see him the other day, but I'd never met John. So I went over and stood on the side of the stage the other day and was watching them. And he had a point in the show where he's not playing. And he walked right up to me and said, "Hey, man, nice to meet you." I said, "I don't want to disturb you during your gig." He was really kind. But it was cool. And he sounded great. He had a big old rack there with 4 boogies in it and some Max effects and his pedals and everything. And 2 cabs that were mic'd off stage. So he had 2 412s that looked like that were the back of the stage and covered in a packing blanket and mic'd up, but you could hear them clearly. And the tones were pretty raging. Yeah, and his playing was pretty raging too. Of course, those guys are just tight as a drum. So yeah, nice festival, the Guitar and Scene Festival. It's terrific hang there. Nice people, and it's obviously festival for the right reasons. You're rocking your Spinal Tap look. Everybody says that. It's like there's other guitar players before Nigel that had long hair. It's funny because like on all the comments in the Sweetwater video that just went up are all like, "Why do you have like Spinal Tap hair?" Not all the comments. There's very nice comments on the video. Actually, the video is getting a lot of views and doing well, and so I'm really stoked on that. But when I go in, I just say, "Give me that shag like every guy had in 1973." It's like everybody had it back then. It was literally everybody. It was Ron Wood. It was Jeff Beck. It was, basically Rod Stewart. It's just stuck up a lot. It was, I was like, give me that early 70s rock and roll shag. Which I guess what Nigel probably said too in the movie. Give me that rock and roll shag hair for the movie. It's the Pete Willis look. Sure, him too, kind of, I guess so. You grow it a little longer, it's Randy Rhoads. You get it down to here, now you're Randy. Right? Basically, keep it going, So, got to dye blonde, I guess. So, I'm not going to do that. Looks like Ace. Ace, kind of in the early, basically, Sure. Yeah. Celebrate still having enough hair. That's what I say, It's like, hey, it's still there, so let's have some fun, Let's just do it. Let's have some fun. Tony Levin has a great haircut. Jeff Beck look. Sure, Jeff circa 1974, 1973. They weren't alive long enough to have that hair. Sure, everybody had it back then. Yeah. I never thought I'd grow my hair out again. I got to the point where it was like, I had this picture of myself from 2012 and it looked really cool. I got this one haircut in 2012 in Venice Beach. I remember I went there and this guy cut my hair and I loved it. And I had the picture of myself right after the haircut. And then it never really looked like that again. I went to him one more time and it just he never did it like that again. And it was like, so I got this one picture and it's basically that haircut. So if I go on anybody, I'm like, can you just do this again? Like, cause I like this. And I'm basically where I'm at now. So yeah, why not? It's still there. And this is basically my color, man. It's like every now and then I stick some brown in it, but this is because I've been on tour now for 2 months. You can see it's a little gray, but it hasn't really, like, I'm really gray in my beard. If I grow my beard out, it's all like, if I grow my beard out, it's super gray. But like hair, for some reason, not so much. I don't know why, just a little bit. So, yeah, man. Yeah. What else we got here? Is this your natural hair color? Yeah, it's this kind of shitty medium brown. I kind of hate like at least it's not gray, so I can't complain too much. But I like it when it's like not because it goes gray. Sometimes I'll go a little darker because I just feel like it's this mousy ass kind of brown color, that I'm not really crazy about. This is it. This is the color of my hair, and just kind of Mark says it's okay. We're all getting older. Yeah, I'm good with it, man. I'm good with here we are. It never got up and left, so I got that to be thankful for. My dad lost all his hair in his early 20s. My granddads lost all their hair. I don't know what happened. Yeah. Arthur, people swoon over your golden locks. What did Cat Williams say? Like, don't try and tell me that my hair is not luxurious. All right. I got about let's talk about some guitar stuff. I got about another 15. Had I put up that boogie video when I did the last Sunday Live? Maybe not, right? I don't think so. Or had I? I can't remember. 2C plus video. Kind of a fun amplifier. If anybody's got any questions about it, let me know. But PT50 news. I was talking to John. Just full disclosure. I mean, I can't promise anything, but he said like that his aim is to have something to me, not to show, but by next January, kind of around NAMM time. And then after that, like in the next little while. And I was like, well, that could work because of other things I've got going on later on next year that I could start rolling it out and stuff like that. So that's the goal. We're doing some fun things with switching and, some features that require a little bit of rethink. It's funny. You can have an amplifier and have the circuit and the tones basically mapped out, but then there's all these other things like the switching and, kind of the functionality of it and stuff that always tend to take time. And, I want to be able to do the impulse responses and stuff like that, like we do on the 15 with this too. So that's, taking a little bit of time as well, just to kind of implement all that stuff. And so it'll be, I've grown comfortable with the sort of the fact that it'll be ready when it's ready, and hopefully 6 months from now, I'll have something that I could plug into, and then we can make some final tweaks and stuff. And then shortly after that, kind of, maybe this time next year but I'm not, that's a very loose, they're not promising anything. I'm not promising anything right now. That's just always the way they are with that. And I've grown comfortable with that. So, the Mark II-C is my dream amp. Yeah, some people commented on the video for the plus amp, which is a slightly higher gain version. Some people said, oh, well, now it's made the II-C obsolete. Now, it's not really like that. It was never like that, because what the deal is with those Mark amplifiers is it'll compromise the clean in that you won't have quite as much headroom making the gain hotter, because the clean channel is sort of shared with the gain. It's like they're not two completely independent things. I don't think, not the way that, because that's always the thing. It makes the clean channel hotter when you add the gain to the gain too, the gain to the gain to the gain channel. It's switching in some sort of cascading gain circuit. It's almost like you can think of it's not anywhere near the same because it's way more Fender in its architecture. But when you switch in the gain, it's almost like you're adding gain on like a Jose amp, where it's like you're not actually changing channels, you're just adding a gain stage. And so as I understand it, we're doing a similar thing, on the Mark amps. When you switch in gain, it's adding gain to the circuit and another gain stage and another master and stuff. And then you can kind of fine tune that. It's a completely different type of circuit, but you can think of it in a similar way. So if, let's say you were to add, let's say you had a Jose amp and then you were to somehow add gain. I don't know how you would, but let's say you could, to the straight up plexi sound of a Jose, right? Because a Jose is a gain stage in front of a plexi, really, that's tuned. If you were to add gain in the straight up tone, not to the extra gain stage, but to the straight up plexi sort of sound, it'd be similar. You wouldn't have as much of the plexi sort of headroom or whatever, would you? You know what I mean? So it's kind of like doing the same thing. So it might work really well for some people and not so much for others. To be honest, when I heard it, I was like, oh, it's great it's got this aggressive, more compressed metal thing. But I actually like the 2C because I'm more of a rock player. So it's like, and I'm of the mind that there's always a way to get more gain via pedals or via, hot pickup or different things that you can do, boosts and things. There's all kinds of ways to get gain. So not really, like, it's a neat amp. It's got a historical place in their, lineage of the Mark series and stuff, this plus and Metallica. And if you want that exact sound, sure, you could get one of those, but it doesn't make the other one obsolete at all. And actually for some players, probably me, if I was going to use that amplifier, on tour or something like that, I would actually go the other way because I don't always like that much gain. I'm not playing like super, thrash metal or something like that. So anyways, yeah. Have you ever actually done a side-by-side of the SLO and the original 5150? Not a side-by-side, but I have had both. I think there's some similarities. I think I've never done a side-by-side, but I've owned both at different times. So I gigged an original 5150, a block logo with original Phillips tubes and the whole 9 yards. When they first came out, I got one. And I gigged that amp quite a bit in the early 90s. Yeah. As a matter of fact, kind of right after my Mesa period, I would say I had so maybe it was 93 or 92, like when I got a block logo 5150. And just prior to that, 91, 92, I had a Mesa Mark III, or maybe I had them both at the same time, and I started using the 5150 more because it was a bit more my thing than the Mark III. Yeah. Wasn't the JP2C supposed to be a 2C plus amp? Well, I think it's got that sound in it as well as other sounds. So I think, yeah. And it does have independent kind of, obviously channels that are like the not shared controls, Yeah. Ola did a nice video with a 2C and with the JP2C where he was comparing the sounds, and he was able to make them sound virtually identical. I thought that was very close. So the JP is a really nice amplifier, I would say. Chris Quinn says, anybody remember playing in the 80s and the club would smell like cigarettes, fried food? Oh, totally. And you'd walk out and your hair would stink after a night of, cigarettes. And, it's kind of funny. It's like when they first banned cigarettes and all that, it was kind of like, oh, that's a little draconian and whatever. And then quickly, even if you were a smoker, like I think back in the day, people were like, wait a minute, this is way better because I don't stink when I come home. They still smoke in a lot of bars in Japan and stuff. It's becoming less and less, but like when you go to Japan, every hotel room in Japan will have this spray stuff in it that's like an odor killer for your clothes. Did we just have that in the US? I don't even know, but like it's a feature of a hotel room in Japan. As soon as you get back to your hotel after a night out, you spray down all your shirts and because otherwise everything smells like cigarettes. It's still a thing there. So, but anyway. As you walk in, you'd hear all the amp noise for questionable Marshall high gain mods. That's funny, Chris. Yeah, amp crazy or somebody stuck a gain stage in, Marshall, something in Hollywood. Chris Quinn says, Soldano really seemed to make a much more manageable, quiet high gain amp. Plus, they sound amazing. They were really, really well made. I mean, that's one thing about the Soldanos was they were really bulletproof in their design. He was a small manufacturer, but he was building things like kind of, with really like basically that military spec, wiring and everything was thought through. So there was no, the one thing was the loop was kind of useless on them. It didn't really work very well with only, very limited range of things. So the loop wasn't great, but the basic design of the amp was really, it was pretty cool. It really started that kind of, mod revolution. I mean, I guess there was some other stuff out by then that was coming out, the PV, VTM, stuff like that. But have you ever gigged on a Bigsby and any help in keeping them in tune? Just you got to use some stuff on the saddles of the bridge that's, try your choice of, lubrication kind of stuff. And also the nut sound of a Bigsby is really like subtle, it's not meant to be used like a Floyd or something. And you can't really, you can bend a half step maybe with them, or maybe a little more, whole step maybe. So if you just use them subtly, they're cool. My first time playing a guitar with a Bigsby and was a Gretsch, and I had borrowed it, and I didn't realize that the bridge wasn't pinned on it, and I hit the guitar kind of hard, and the bridge moved, and the chord, I was completely out of tune, and I had no idea why. So that was my first experience. They're really kind of a low-tech beast. I've got a James Tressart guitar that has a Bigsby on it, and it's pretty cool. I use it, and a little bit on that guitar works pretty well, but it's got a fairly straight string pull Telly style headstock. It's a Telly style guitar. Yeah, it works pretty good, but yeah, I don't really trust them to stay in tune. That's for sure. Yeah. Recently scored a great deal on a PT100. Super versatile, as you say. It's a keeper. That's awesome. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Still a great amplifier. The original. It's been out well over 10 years now. Really good. So, did you get a chance to swap technique tips with Matteo? No, I met the great, I hope I'm saying his last name, Manusco, right? Mancuso, sorry, Matteo Mancuso. He's such an amazing guitar player. Met him the other day. He was really happy to meet Joe Satriani. He walked up while I was talking to Joe. And he's just, if you haven't seen him play, he's got this unbelievable right hand. I guess his father was maybe a classical guitarist. So I was told by Joe. I didn't realize that. But anyway, that's where he got the idea to play with the crazy technique that he has. And he was wonderful. He was a really nice guy. He went on after us. I didn't get to see his set because we had just come off stage, and I had to come back and say hi to a couple of guests, and then eat my dinner, and then run right on the bus because we had to leave to come here. So unfortunately, I didn't get to see him. But anyways, he was very nice. So any news on 2026 CRS plans? I'm sure that'll be coming out relatively soon. I'll be there. Yep. Which one is your favorite Friedman IR preamps? Any thoughts? I gotta go in a sec, guys. Sorry, this was so short today, but I got a lobby call in about 20. I like the original one, just the straight up with the BE channels and stuff like that. And then I really like the Jake one. I like them both. The Tone King one is really cool too. If you're more of a Fender kind of person that just needs a good sort of, medium gain rock drive, and you like nice reverb and tremolo, and maybe you want to use some pedals for drive, check out the Tone King. Don't sleep on that because it's really, really, really good. But I would say that overall, probably the Jake is probably, that one just sounds really great to me. So JG Hill Studios got to run. I should really run too. This was the shortest. This is going to be under 30 minutes here, but I do my best to at least sign on and say hi. And then I got to get to the gig. We got a fairly short. I get there tonight. I'm going to have about 40 minutes to warm up, and then I'm running on stage. We had a day off yesterday. So this is the time when, do you guys ever do this before gigs where you're like, I hope I remember all these songs? It's only been like 36 hours, but you're like, do I remember everything? And then of course you do, of course you do. But it's just kind of funny, thinking like that. But anyways, Ian there says, thanks for seeing you. Have a great gig tonight. Yeah, I'm going to go rock out. I wonder if anybody's coming that's on the stream right now. If anybody's coming to the show. I know I'm not saying it right. Somebody said that earlier. Is it Prague? I know Prague is we call it Prague in America. Not the right way to say it, is it? Paris. London. All right. I'm gonna split and go rock and roll. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for bearing with me with the the random time for the stream. And today was really short. I'll be back in LA pretty soon. I'll do another one that's back there in my studio and a more normal length of time. That's really good. A little English breakfast tea. That woke me up, actually. I was feeling a little like when I got on here, and now I'm like, yeah, just perfect. Tea later in the day, not coffee. That's where it's at. So you can go to sleep later. Half as much caffeine. Just right. All right, everybody. Love you all. Be nice to one another. Have a great week. And I'll see you next Sunday. I'll be somewhere. Next Sunday, I'll be a week away from going home. I think I might be in Athens or something. Is that right? Let's just take a look really quick while I'm on my caffeine buzz. Yep. Day off. So next week, let's look forward to doing this. Normal time, normal length of time. I'll do at least an hour, if not an hour and a half or something like that. And I'll start around right when I usually should, which is, yeah, maybe it'll be a little early, on the early side, so that I can then have dinner afterwards. All right. Everybody have a terrific week. Love y'all. Take care. Rock on. There's my alarm to get ready. See ya.